Good evening, everybody. I don't believe that authentic assessment is the only method of assessment to be used with young children, but I believe it is the most appropriate method based on this mood. I'll present 3 arguments in support of authentic assessment in the early childhood classroom. First, I'll define authentic assessment. Authentic assessment in the early childhood classroom is a process where the teacher observes, record, and document what, how, and when a child demonstrates various skills and concepts. Rise 2014. The teacher can use authentic assessment every day during the daily schedule as they observe children when they socialize and play with each other. These observations from the use of authentic assessment allow the teacher to set up the classroom environment in areas of interest to the child, which will allow the teacher to scaffold each child's learning. The early childhood environment must be set up to encourage peer interaction and role play with a variety of open-ended materials and props in order that children can freely demonstrate their skills and concepts they have mastered. Authentic assessment includes a wide variety of developmentally appropriate tools such as children's activity, children's portfolio, photographs, video and audio recording, anecdotal documentation. During the early childhood years, giving young children the opportunity to role play and demonstrate real life experience is the best way to evaluate the understanding and concept of the world around them. I emphasize, is the best way to assess young children. NAEYCE 2009 states that when young children work during the early years, it is not developmentally appropriate to look at their work independently, but rather it is better to observe the children as they work in a group setting where they are supported by each other. In the early childhood setting, it is extremely important to emphasize that the most effective developmental appropriate assessment is the authentic assessment method, instead of using checklists as in the traditional assessment method. Students are better able to demonstrate the skills and concepts they have learned in a more effective way with the use of that method, the authentic assessment method. There are numerous benefits from the use of the authentic assessment method, but for this debate, I will only emphasize on 3 direct benefits of the use of authentic assessment in the early childhood classroom. Firstly, it is important to note that the use of authentic assessment gives teachers the opportunity to observe children and learn more about their strength and weakness as they develop various skills and concepts. The teacher can give the children individualized feedback on their learning experience when they ask open-ended questions on what the child is presently doing. So rather than wait until the middle of the term or the end of the term to use the traditional method of checklist and rubric, the teacher can assess the child every day in the daily routine as the teacher observes the child, and the teacher can better prepare lesson plans by assessing the child's weakness and strength. As children manipulate material in a concrete manner, they are able to demonstrate learning of various concepts and skills. So at that point, it is better for the teacher to judge the child or to assess the child while the child is demonstrating those various concepts and skills during their play. Also, authentic method gives the teacher a better understanding of children's learning and thinking process. The teacher would not have otherwise gotten this information with the use of developmental checklist and rubric. By questioning the children on what they are presently doing, the teacher gets a more effective feedback on the children's learning ability and understanding of the concept. The traditional method would not capture such critical thinking which is required of the child while she or she is being questioned. If you wait for the traditional method, the child may forget some important concept. But by assessing the child right there, the child is able to understand what he or she is doing and explain it to the teacher. As I said, the best form of assessment is the authentic assessment method for young children in the early childhood environment. Finally, and importantly, with the use of authentic assessment, children's daily routine will not be disrupted and the individual differences will be respected. The traditional method of assessment, on the other hand, may not be sensitive to children's individual differences, including children with different cultural backgrounds, other background experience, and disabilities. With the use of authentic method of assessment, all children will be comfortable as they engage in activity together. Children with and without learning ability will be actively playing, and the teacher would better be able to assess those children rather than wait for a rubric or checklist where the children may feel uncomfortable and the teacher will have to break from the daily schedule to assess each children individually. The authentic assessment method gives the teacher the opportunity to observe children as they walk, unrecognized, as I say, unrecognized. Whereas the traditional assessment method, time will have to be set aside, disrupting the daily routine. With that method, it is less stressful. Young children don't have to go to the stress of being answered questions or being tested in that way. Rather, while they play, the teacher play along with them and assess them, and they get a better understanding of the child rather than disrupting the daily routine to assess. After that, the teacher can develop developmentally appropriate curriculum based on all the observation that they receive the children, which will better able to equip the child in the learning process. In conclusion, I state that traditional method may still have a place in assessment of young children, but it can never replace the effectiveness of the use of the authentic method when evaluating young children's development. Children are individual and unique, and we need to recognize their strengths and ability. And the best way to do that is with the use of authentic method. I recommend the authentic method as the best form of assessment method for young children. I thank you.